We begin today at 4 with 4 fires in 4 separate locations around Indianapolis. Thanks for joining us here on 13 News. I'm Dustin Grove.
And I'm Felicia Lawrence. And in all, 7 homes and 1 restaurant were burned and 2 firefighters were injured while battling the fires. Sia New Yorker has developing details.
A spokeswoman for Indianapolis Fire Department says that most of the firefighters battled 2, if not 3, of the 4 fires that started in our area. The first fire started last night just after 9:30. Firefighters were called to a home on Salego Drive near Troy and Arlington Avenues on Indy's southeast side. This is body cam footage from IFD. The family told firefighters they heard a loud boom before they smelled smoke and their smoke alarms went off. The fire broke out in the garage and spread to the attic, causing significant damage. Thankfully, the family of 5 and their dog made it out uninjured. Then just before 1 a.m., IFD crews were called to Hamilton Avenue near the east side of Indy. When firefighters arrived to the scene, they saw heavy smoke and flames coming from 3 houses. This neighbor who lives across the street told us his dog woke him up.
Came downstairs, out the door, opened the door, and that's when I just seen both houses, in flames, and the fire was so hot, I was sweating, I was standing at my door across the street and I was sweating. That's how hot the fire was.
All 3 houses are vacant and IFD says they're a total loss. Then around 3:45 this morning, IFD crews were called to 20th and North College Avenue where a fire spread across 3 homes. IFD believes the main 2 houses were vacant and another home was unoccupied at the time of the fire. Several crews battled the fire and smoke for hours. 1 firefighter was taken to the hospital with slight injuries. Then just after 6 this morning, this fire at Sunshine Breakfast House and Grill on West 38th and Muller Road on Indy's northwest side. Firefighters found flames on the roof, but were able to get them under control. IFD says there were working smoke alarms and no injuries were reported. All of the fires are under investigation. When we get more information in, we'll update you on air and online. Reporting in downtown Indy, Sia New Yorker, 13 News.
Sia, thank you. And today we're learning a person has died after their truck went into an Eastside retention pond.
Metro Police say somebody reported it around 7 this morning near 42nd and North German Church Roads. IFD divers pulled the person from the pond who was rushed to the hospital in critical condition. Sadly, they did not survive. Well, Florida is bracing for what could be its largest evacuation since 2017. This is ahead of the latest hurricane to head toward the Gulf Coast, Hurricane Milton.
Hurricane Milton. So the storm churning in the Gulf, rapidly intensifying into a powerful Category 5 hurricane today.
As Lee Waldman tells us, residents are simply being told to just get out now.
Days ahead of Hurricane Milton's expected landfall, Floridians are preparing. Long lines of cars waiting to fill up sandbags along the western coast. Officials are urging people to finalize their preparations now and get out of the path of this storm.
You have time to execute your plan, but you got to do it now. There have been some evacuations that have been issued. There's going to be a flurry of them today. I know the counties are working on opening shelters.
You cannot wait and see. You have been told what's going to happen.
The storm is projected to make landfall as a Category 3 near the Tampa area late Wednesday or early Thursday, packing 120-mile-per-hour winds. Officials are warning about the threat of storm surge, rain, and flash flooding. A state of emergency has been declared in 51 of the 67 counties in Florida.
Please, if you're in the Tampa Bay area, you need to evacuate. If they have called for your evacuation order, I beg you, I implore you to evacuate. Drowning deaths due to storm surge are 100% preventable if you leave.
10 days removed from Hurricane Helene's devastation, debris from that storm still lingers, prompting Florida's governor to deploy the National Guard to help assist with debris removal that could cause more damage from Milton's forecasted winds.
That creates a huge hazard if you have a major hurricane hit in that area this week.
I'm Lee Waldman reporting.
And tomorrow marks 2 weeks since Indiana Task Force 1 was activated down south to help in the aftermath of Hurricane Helene.
And with Milton just days from the coast, what comes next for the group is still up in the air at this point. Our Samantha Johnson is here now after checking in with the men and women on the ground. Boy, it has been a long few weeks for them and doesn't appear to be over anytime soon, huh?
Yeah, because we know the task force spent several days in Florida before they moved to North Carolina just a few days ago. And that 2-week mark, 14 days, is about how long they typically spend on assignment. But this is no typical assignment with more severe weather to come. So take a look at this. Task Force 1 sharing these photos on social media earlier today, saying they continue to help with targeted and wide area searches in the western North Carolina area. Clearly still so much to do here with Milton barreling towards Florida, as we've mentioned, now as a Category 5 hurricane. So today I talked to Task Force Coordinator Neil. He tells me at this time we don't have any further from the state of North Carolina or FEMA. For now, we are assigned to NC and intend to finish out all assignments until they can release resources assigned to the search and rescue operations. So, of course, we expect to learn more about what comes next for this team as Milton continues to move closer in the days to come.
And in the meantime, we know several airports in Florida are already suspending flights ahead of Milton.
Yeah, that's right. And really, some of those take effect in a matter of hours, too, which could make getting in or out of that area even more difficult. So we'll take a closer look at that coming up on 13 News at 5.
What a terrible situation for those people down there.
Sam, thank you so much. Yeah, I imagine with everything being so fluid right now, they have to just respond to what's directly in front of them before they can even start to think about, you know, in 2 days, in 3 days, in 5 days, what that would look like.
And we've seen down there, they're still not cleaned up. They still have so much to clean up.
Yeah, and this could potentially take the worst case scenario path for the city of Tampa. And a landfall north of that city, that brings the surge into the bay. If it's south, the flow is out of the bay. That's a massive difference. Let's give you the latest here. Hurricane Hunter aircraft now on their way. We've got one that's going back to Mobile, already landed. That's what was flying through the eye earlier this afternoon, and that's why you see the 175 mile per hour wind with Milton, as strong as they come here in this part of the world. We've got Hurricane Hunter aircraft now. This will actually go around the hurricane, taking observations. This one will not go inside, at least I don't think so. At any rate, they're taking observations. All of that data gets fed into the computer modeling that the National Hurricane Center will then come out with a new path and intensity coming up in about an hour. That is a textbook look of, as again, strong as they come in this part of the globe. In fact, strongest in the Gulf of Mexico this late in the season with that 175 mile per hour wind. It's the strongest we've had in the Gulf since Rita in 2005. It's one of only 7 hurricanes to go from a Category 1 to a Category 5 in 24 hours or less. And it's not a surprise that that happened. This is the most favorable tropical environment likely in the entire world right now. Very warm air, very little wind shear, and high levels of atmospheric moisture. And that's what we got. Now, as it moves toward the Florida coast on Wednesday, a less favorable environment, and that's why they continue to forecast weakening, but we're weakening from a high-end Cat 5 to still a major hurricane on Florida's west coast, where there's expected to be a long swath of damaging storm surge. We'll talk more about that and, of course, our weather coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Sean, thank you so much. And let's get a check of traffic. It is Monday afternoon. Here's a look at I-65 at 21st Street. It's not atypical to see somewhat of a slowdown, but things still moving. All lanes open in both directions. We will keep an eye on things. Again, this is I-65 at 21st Street. And it looks like it's slowing up a little bit more there. Okay, stay with us as we continue to watch this. 4:09 this afternoon, 4:10 p.m.
And traffic's about to get bumpier downtown, so to speak. 65 southbound will be closed temporarily this month, starting at 9 p.m. Friday night, October 18th. Crews will be closing I-65 south between West Street and Alabama for up to 16 days, so a little more than 2 weeks for bridge deck patching and joint repairs. Lane restrictions on 65 southbound will begin at 29th Street and continue to the point of closure. Traffic will be required to exit 65 southbound at West Street. Now this is happening while Taylor Swift is here, so traffic, as you can imagine, will be challenging to say the least for anybody trying to park downtown for that concert. So there's your first heads up on that. We'll be sure and bring it up again as the date gets closer.
Really, really good reminder there.
Yeah.